So this slide shows dimensions of marketing to business customers. So we're gonna visit each one separately, each box separately. Let's look at transaction characteristics. Well, generally speaking, business orders tend to be much larger, right? Purchases tend to be made by organized committees that include different specialists. So, purchasing by businesses is at more professional, at higher level. Discussions and negotiations can require considerable marketing time and selling effort. Now, let's take a look at business customer attributes. Uh, since they use more professionals in decision making, they are better informed and they demand more detailed product information, which is often dictated by at the state level. You know, different ministries make sure that large corporations, they follow certain rules in purchasing. Goals of purchasing agent may include advancement or financial awards. Some suppliers and business customers build and maintain mutually beneficial relationships or partnerships. This is more popular in developed countries. Major concerns of business customers are price, because they buy in large quantities and they usually negotiate with several suppliers at the same time. Product quality, many firms have standards or specifications they must meet and not exceed. Um, Service, typically business customers desire market information, inventory maintenance, on-time delivery, repair services, and 24/7 support from the suppliers if possible. Supplier relationships, with a strong relationship, buyers can reduce their search efforts and their price uncertainty. In fact, in Japanese companies, this is very common, and if the to the point that if the supplier's costs increase, instead of switching to another supplier, many Japanese companies instead they help with expertise. They give them financial support to upgrading their machinery so that they stay together. There's a long-term trust between business partners in Japanese market. Now, business buying methods. Description is used when products are standardized, such as agriculture products, right? Inspection is used when products have unique characteristics, such as building or vehicles. In Uzbekistan, for example, after some period of silence, uh, there are new requirements on building inspections. New residential and office buildings will face tougher inspections because some problems, numerous problems with the finished uh, housing. Sampling is used for homogeneous products when examining the entire lot is not feasible, such as grain, fruits, and vegetables. Negotiation is used commonly for one-time projects such as building or capital equipment. Types of business purchases can be generally divided into new task purchase, straight rebuy purchase, and modified rebuy purchase. So new task purchase, as it says in the description, it is when the company is buying, placing an order for a certain item for the first time. A straight rebuy purchase is when a company becomes a, a loyal client and just renews its order when supplies finish. Modified rebuy purchase could be when new task purchases are changed on repeat orders, or straight rebuy purchases are modified. Right, so it's still a rebuy, but maybe they could be, price could be renegotiated, or, for example, when it comes to cars. In developed countries, there is new requirements for cars are issued regularly at the state level. So when ordering a new batch of cars, dealers have to renegotiate those terms. We must say that unlike consumer demand, business demand, demand for business products is a derived demand. The demand for business products derives from demand for consumer products, right? And it's also compared to consumer demand, it's rather inelastic. So they're not so sensitive to price increases or decreases. For example, consumers they may switch brands, they may switch alternative products just for few cents, few dollars difference. But in businesses, it's not the same, and vice versa. Joint demand occurs when two or more items are used in combination to produce a product. So, for example, I think most of you have these kind of stickers on your laptops or desktops. Intel inside. Intel inside is actually this a symbol of the one of the longest running advertising marketing campaign to promote Intel microchips. So because the demand for Intel microchips is dependent on the computers with Intel installed in them. That's why they try to advertise the superiority of Intel microchips compared to other cheaper alternatives. So business buying behavior refers to the purchase behavior of producers, government units, institutions, and resellers. Um, some purchasing factors are the same as we said as in the consumer markets. We'll look at buying centers now. So buying center is an imaginary term. So there is really no center, but interconnected people who jointly make a decision to buy certain product or service. So we can divide the members of the buying center into users. So let's say your office needs new computers. So majority of employees would be users. Influencers are IT people. Buyers are, there is a special purchasing department for that. Gatekeepers are, the assistants to the director or secretaries, which may control the flow of information to the decision makers and to the rest of the team. And deciders are usually top management. Um, if it's autocratic, then one person. If it's more democratic, then several people, executives sit down together. Chief executive officer, chief finance officer, and chief technology officer, and others may sit down together and they decide. So they are deciders. So their decision is the final. Now let's talk about stages of business buying process. It also starts with problem recognition. So one or more individuals recognize a problem or need exists. For example, using the same example from earlier, so several people complain, and then they say our computers are too slow, or they're overheating and they're not fit for the environment. So the problem, people start searching for the solution. So they may arise. So different scenarios are possible. Um, Problems may arise under a variety of circumstances. When machines malfunction, when an existing product is modified, or when introducing new products. Now, at the second stage, um, The development of product specifications requires the buying center participants, as we mentioned earlier, assess the problem or need and determine what is necessary to solve the problem to satisfy the users. Users and influencers often provide information advice, and by assessing and describing needs, the organization should be able to establish product specifications. And then third stage is alternatives. Potential products are searched and evaluated. This may include contacting suppliers for information, soliciting proposals, examining websites, catalogs, and trade publications. At this stage, companies conduct value analysis and vendor analysis, which which may take which may be very highly formalized. Some companies choose to work with one supplier, while others, in order to minimize risks of being out of necessary supplies, they work with multiple suppliers. That's another choice. At stage 4, when once company selects a supplier, terms and credit arrangements are discussed and finalized. Delivery dates and methods are also included in the contract. And many companies nowadays, they look at technical assistance arrangements because technology is getting more complex and more knowledge is required to service different machines and equipment. And business buying behavior also includes evaluation stage. So they evaluate whether the products and supplies they meet the specifications which were stated in the contract. Now, this we're going to talk about factors that may influence business buying decision process. So this slide summarizes those factors, and we're going to look at environmental influences. Environmental factors that influence buying decision can be competitive and economic factors like now, political forces, legal and regulatory forces, technological changes in the world, and sociocultural issues. Organization influences are things such as companies' objectives, purchasing policies designed by the company, resources that the companies possess, and the size and composition of the buying center. Size by size, we mean like how many people are involved, and composition is what kind of specialists are included in this buying center. Interpersonal influences remain very important in business buying behavior. Trust is crucial, especially with customized products. Trust and clear communication ensures the satisfaction of all parties. Now, individual influences are age, education level, personality, and position in the organization of the decision makers and other members of uh, the buying center. So how influential these factors are also depend on the buying situation, the type of product being purchased, and whether the purchase is new task, modified, or straight rebuy. So effective marketers, as always, must know customers very well. They must visit them regularly. They must invite them for different events. They should befriend people, especially in the buying center. Industrial classification systems, they help in segmentation of business to business markets. So marketers must locate potential purchasers and estimate their purchase potential by finding a relationship between the potential purchases and the variable from the industrial classification data. But don't rely on this data completely, especially in developing countries like ours. Some industries do not have specific designation. Double counting of shipments could occur. Some data may be understated, and currency of data suffers due to lag time. That's it. That's it for this topic. Thank you very much for your attention. Have a nice day.